What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Kirby's Barbecue YouTube channel. And we've got what I've coined the Death Star here, 250-gallon smoker pit from PRM Barbecue Co. And we had to remove the stack in transport to get it into this building. So I am just tightening up the nuts and bolts here on the smokestack so we can get this going. We're going to be seasoning it in this video, which is going to be really cool. Shout out to the members of the channel who got to see this thing first. And shout out to all of you guys who are not members of the channel that are going to become members of the channel, because when you become a member of the channel, you get first look at all the content. You get tips and tricks on how to do your barbecue business and much more. But yeah, we got the 250, the Death Star here. We're going to season this pit up today. And I'm excited, man. It took a lot of willpower to not fire this thing up yesterday, to be honest with you. But it was date night, so spent pretty much all day getting this thing here and into the building. And wanted to spend some time with the wife, so that's what we did. We have not cut a hole through the top of this building yet, but it's not touching the top. There's still, I'd say, a good 6 to 8 inches of room between the top of the smokestack and the top of the building. And we're going to be cooking a low and slow fire. Nothing too crazy, just enough to season this thing. And later this week, hopefully we can get that hole done in the roof and we can properly get this thing done. So I do have a big fan in the corner. That should help me dispel some of the smoke during this session. You know, we've got the mesh here, basically mesh on 3 sides of the building. So it does have a place to go, it does have a place to dissipate so that we don't asphyxiate up in this building. Smokestack, it's on there good. It's on there good. Just so you guys know, the folding smokestack is an option available at PRM, but it doesn't come standard on the 250 gallons on skids. Now, if you got it on a trailer package, then it would. Now, this smoker pit was painted on Friday. It is Tuesday, so the paint is still pretty fresh, and I want to make sure I keep this thing continuing to look good. So I'm just kind of lightly trying to rub off all the smears and the marks and the fingerprints that we got on this thing from moving it. Sorry if it's a little loud. I am using a microphone to try to make sure, noise canceling microphone, kind of cancel out the outside noise, but I'm not sure how clear I'm going to come out. Usually come out pretty good with this mic, but food truck next door is running a generator and we're by the road, so it can be pretty loud, but just trying to clean this up. My wife hasn't seen the smoker yet. She's actually on her way up here to come see it. She's seen pictures, but she hasn't seen the actual real deal here. Oh, there she goes. So we're gonna show her this, get her reaction, and then season this thing up. Come on in, you wanna be on YouTube? All right. First reactions. Yeah. Well, I am going to go ahead and show her this, and we'll come back to you to season this pit up, so stay tuned. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing seasoned. Nothing special, just vegetable oil. And I've seasoned a couple pits in my time, but none as big as this one. So what I think we're going to do is pull out the cooking grates, the top racks. That way we can get all the way in here And we're just going to do a very generous coating of vegetable spray on the inside here. And try to really hit every piece of metal that way. That way we can get this thing seasoned properly. Get rid of any rust that may be still in the tank. And do that. So super excited to get this thing fired up for the first time. Like I said, a tad bit nervous that the smokestack isn't reaching all the way outside of it because we haven't drilled our hole. But the good thing is it's not actually touching the roof. You see we got a decent amount of clearance. So we should be okay at least for this first initial seasoning. We're not going to burn a raging fire. So we should be okay. But we will be drilling a hole and extending that smokestack through there. All right. But yeah, we have coined this smoker the Death Star. I think it's appropriately named the Death Star. Obviously, there's guys with bigger pits, 500 gallons, 1,000-gallon pits, right? But for us, this is the biggest pit I've ever smoked on. And with the black on black, it just gives you that Star Wars Death Star Darth Vader vibes. So that's the name we're going to go with. Okay. Going to have to pull these grates out as well to get a good season. And I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole thing. What I'll do is I'll come back to you when we're done seasoning it and we're ready to light a fire. All right, so this is all we're starting with here. A little bit of matchlight charcoal and go ahead and put that big old log on there. Finally have a use for those logs because these two bad boys cannot utilize the logs. Usually I get some splits that are really good size, but in every batch there's going to be some splits that are rather large. And finally have a firebox big enough to utilize those splits so they're not going to waste. So we're going to go ahead and light this thing up. Sit tight. Sit tight. All right. Kirby's Barbecue, the Death Star. First light. Here we go. All right, y'all. So we have this smoker pit lit. We just added one more log on there. Felt like I needed it. Something that's really cool about these smoker pits is how they have the handle. They have these notches for the handle. So you essentially got 3 notches. The closest one being the one where it's fully closed, and then you got one in the middle, and then you got one on the outside here, which is pretty cool. Most of the time, I usually cook with my firebox door wide open, but I've got it on the last one here because I'm trying to keep the smoke in the room as minimal as possible. And so my idea was, because I could see smoke building right there, I don't want it coming out this end. I want it just to come out of that smokestack there. And I've got the fan set up to push that out. We're working on, first of all, we're going to cut a hole through the ceiling to get that ventilated and get that flowing right outside. And then also we're going to put some type of ventilation system somewhere in the roof to get rid of some of the smoke, because with these two smokers, right, the smokestack's so short that all the smoke does kind of stay in the room if it's not being pulled out by the mesh there, the mesh screening. So, yeah. So that's kind of what we're looking like. So when I put the first log on, I don't know, from the last time I came out here, probably been about 10 minutes. And it was running at about 150 degrees. So we're still down there, low temperature. It's going to take a while for this big beast to warm up. But when it does, we'll come back to you. Most likely, we'll come back to you and go from there. All right, guys, so we are back, and we're going to end this video here. We have got a real good fire cooking in there now. Took a little while to get those big old splits on fire, but we did it. And we're sitting at about 200 degrees. So far we have not burnt a hole through the roof, but I'm keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, we're just gonna let this thing season. I'm gonna do some prep for catering tomorrow. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.